Hi, my name is Sanmanta Kumari Gurung, and in this video presentation, I'll be talking about the staff retention in early childhood education and care in Australia. Although there are various pressing issues and challenges that the ECEC sector faces, but in this video, I'll be focusing solely on staff retention, why it is important, and this video presentation is part of my assessment for the subject early childhood leadership management and research. So here is a brief overview of this video presentation. That is, first we are going to see the overall landscape of ECEC sector in Australia, then the current issues of ECEC, particularly the staff retention. Then why does staff retention matter? Staff retention not only for the educators but also for the children and the families. And we are also going to see the critical barriers to staff retention in early childhood education and care, like what are the reasons due to which the educators are leaving their profession, and strategies for staff retention, like how to improve retention and enhance workforce. Then conclusion. Landscape of ECEC in Australia. ECEC supports children's learning, families, and workforce participation. Australia's ECEC sector plays a vital role in supporting children's learning, family well-being, and enhancing workforce participation. ECC doesn't just only prepare children for school, it also gives them a sense of belonging and an emotional security. It also enables the working parents to work, especially mothers, to do their usual work, to participate in the workforce, supporting both their family and gender equity. As per the Australian Government Department of Education 2024, there are more than 600,000 educators supporting 1.5 million children currently at the moment. This shows the importance of educators in ECEC sector in Australia. However, maintaining a stable workforce in the sector is becoming a real challenge. Retaining skilled and passionate educators in the sector is critical because stable educators build stable relationships which build trust and continuity for the children, and it is strongly supported by the early years learning framework and the national quality standards. The government has developed several strategies to tackle this issue, such as the National Workforce Strategy called as Shaping Our Future, but the implementation on the ground level is still a challenge. Current issue of ECEC staff retention. So across Australia, the educator turnover rate in some regions exceeds 30%. The reasons are quite consistent, such as low pay, which does not reflect or match the professional skills, high workload, and few career growth opportunities. As per Thorpe et al. 2024, there is a mismatch of policies and real practice in the real field. While government strategies sound good on paper, educators on the floor, they often experience burnout and paperwork overload and lack of recognition. So although we have strong frameworks, the reality for many educators is frustration, fatigue, which leads them to leave the profession altogether. Why does the staff retention matter? So staff retention matters deeply because children, they thrive when they are cared by the educators they know and trust. So according to the EYLF version 2, secure and respectful relationships form the foundation for learning. When educators stay long term with the children, they can recognize, they can observe, and they can recognize little or subtle changes in children's behavior, their interest, and their emotions. and they whereby they support the continuity of learning for the children. High turnover, however, breaks these relationships, the bonds between the educator and the children, and the children, they have to rebuild the trust repeatedly, and families lose that sense of security. This issue is also linked to Quality Area 4 staffing arrangements and Quality Area 6 collaborative partnerships under the national quality standards. Services with stable teams perform better because consistent staff support stronger learning outcomes and relationships with families. They tend to have good relationship with the families over time, and then they know when how to deal with the children and the family. So in this way the bond is better. It leads to the continuity of the learning and helps the overall development of the children. So therefore, staff retention isn't just a workforce issue, it's a quality issue that directly affects children's well-being and development. Key obstacles to retention. So now let us look at some of the reasons why the educators are leaving the sector. The first one being inadequate compensation. That is, the educators are highly qualified, yet they get low pay, and it doesn't match with their responsibilities. This makes the educators feel undervalued, so it leads them to leave the profession. So losing one educator can cost up to 40% of the annual salary, as per Victoria's Department of Education's report. The second reason is heavy workload and role overload. So educators in the ECEC, they have to manage programming, documentation, compliance, and also engage in um, continuous family communication, which takes place often outside work hours. So therefore this heavy workload and extra hours, it is leading them to have stress, and they don't have time for their personal life. Therefore they choose to they choose to change to different profession, which leads to higher attrition rate. The third one is emotional labor and burnout. So, as per the research by NG et al. 2023, high stress and fatigue are seen to be the leading factors of uh, staff turnover at the moment. We know that ECC work is emotional. Supporting children's behavior, well-being, and family communication can be draining. The fourth reason is limited career progression. So when the educator is gets employed, they get stuck in that particular role, and they have limited or very few career progression opportunities, and then therefore it limits their career motivation and professional identity. Hence they choose to leave the profession and look for better opportunities. The fifth reason why the educators leave the profession is the governance and contextual pressure. So Thorpe et al. In 2024 found out that the community-based services tend to retain staff better than the profit-driven ones. Rural and remote centers also have added challenges like fewer training opportunities and staff shortages. So overall, all of these factors combined make it extremely difficult to build a stable and motivated workforce. Strategies forward. So, despite all of these challenges, there are several practical and evidence-based strategies that can be implemented, and it can make a difference. So let's see one by one. The first one being leadership empowers educators. So leaders play a crucial role in retention. When leaders offer mentorship, value staff contributions, and create a cohesive team, the educators are more likely to stay. Second strategy can be governance and quality funding, plan for relief staff, equity funding. So services that budget for planning time, staff relief, and professional learning see lower turnover rate. Targeted funding, especially for rural areas, help create equity. And not to forget the wage for the educators to match with their qualifications and skills. Another strategy is career growth, meaning clear career pathways, mentoring and study support. So, mentoring, leadership training, and support, study support encourages educators to grow professionally, and they let them envision long term in the sector, in that particular career. And this all aligns with the national quality standard, quality area 7, governance and leadership. This will help retain the educators in the sector. The other strategy is the wellbeing culture, mental health, and support reflection. So, wellbeing must be embedded in the daily practice through team reflection, flexible rostering, and open communication. The educators, they want to be feel, they want to be seen, heard, and valued. So, when there is a wellbeing culture in the workplace, then the educators will be likely to stay in that sector because their well-being is looked after and they don't have the stress, or they don't feel the need to leave the profession. The fifth strategy is policy planning, forecast needs and offer incentives. So policies must respond to real world challenges with retention metrics built into national planning. It should be embedded in the national planning. The Jobs and Skills Australia 2024 report calls out for workforce strategies that balance supply and demand while ensuring fair working conditions. So these are some of the strategies that can be implemented to retain staff in the ECEC sector in Australia. So, in conclusion, ECC sector in Australia is currently facing the staff retention challenge. We all agree that high quality early education, care, and learning begins with skilled educators, dedicated educators. But unless we support these educators and retain them in the sector, quality will always be compromised. Staff retention, they depend on fair pay, good leadership, supportive workplace culture, and clear career pathways. When educators feel valued and trusted, and when they are given with lots of opportunities for their career growth, they stay in the sector. And when they stay in the sector, the children will thrive. They will learn. They will build a long relationship of trust, yeah. So therefore investing in the educators means we are investing in the future of the nation. So to truly strengthen our ECC system, we must move beyond short-term fixes and prioritize sustainable long-term support for the people who are making the early learning possible, that is the educators. Thank you.